Change is one of the inevitable truths in life, and it affects even the likes of video games. While the medium is still fairly new, a lot of stuff has happened since the days of populated arcades and NES. We've seen some of our favorite video game characters go through some drastic changes over the years. Some good, some bad, but nonetheless all interesting. So today we're taking a look at a few of those transformations with our list of the top 10 video game characters that have changed the most. In at number 10. Mario. Mario's aesthetic has remained pretty consistent over the years. For the most part, his physical changes have been derivative of changes in technology and the progress of graphics. Gone are his 8-bit days, with newer generations of gamers being more familiar with the 3D Mario of Odyssey over that 2-dimensional version. That being said, regardless of what Mario game you play, the title character is hands down the most recognizable figure in the video game industry, and that's a big win for Nintendo. Up next, number 9, McPhee. While McPhee may be the newest character on our list, the changes to his character stats in Overwatch have definitely been swift. McPhee is an example of a character who's been nerfed, meaning he's gone from a character with impressive stats down to one that's got lesser merit, due to an update that was aimed at evening out overpowered characters in the MMO. While it was Blizzard's intentions to balance McPhee out, his bullet damage from his alternate fire dropped from 70 to 45, which is a pretty big blow. He's not the only character in Overwatch to have suffered the woes of nerfing either. Widowmaker underwent similar changes. Up next, number 8, Pac-Man. While Mario may be the most recognizable video game character in mainstream pop culture, Pac-Man is arguably the most influential, being the very first gaming mascot. He was established back in the days when arcades were kings, and is an example of how much potential a mascot or recognizable character can have when it came to the video game industry and drawing in new audiences. Not to mention that the Pac-Man game itself has had a huge influence on the games and developers that succeeded it, from Wolfenstein 3D to Doom to Grand Theft Auto and even Metal Gear. But let's jump back to how much Pac-Man has changed over the years. For a simple character, it's a pretty simple change. Another 2D to 3D adaptation, with Pac-Man even getting some limbs in the process, which kinda always seemed weird to me because he's, Pac-Manning across your screen and limbs aren't flailing. Anyway, unlike many of the other characters on this list, Pac-Man's original incarnation is just as well known as his current one, if not more so, with the character in his initial game even appearing in the collections of the Smithsonian Museum and MoMA. Up next at number 7, PIKACHU. Speaking of bright yellow icons, let's take a look at one of Nintendo's beloved characters, the electric rat Pokemon known as Pikachu. Pikachu has always been globally adored, to the point where critics have even argued that the character is oversaturated when it comes to the world of Pokemon, considering how many generations of Pokemon there has been since Pikachu's incarnation. I mean, considering how many generations of Pokemon there are out there. Pikachu's poster boy status is more than synonymous with the brand. He's practically a marketing tool, and an entry point that some fans of the franchise have even grown to loathe. Aside from Pikachu's symbolic progression over the years, the electric Pokemon has undergone an interesting physical change that many see as problematic. The character has gone from a chubby, cute creature to one that is much more lean in recent years. Up next, number 6, KRATOS. KRATOS' change is not a physical one, well, a little bit of a physical one, but rather an emotional and mental one. With the latest edition of the God of War franchise quickly approaching, KRATOS' fans are looking forward to seeing a more matured version of the Godslayer, one that has now become a dad, and spends the latest game navigating a new foreign mythology with his boy. He's also sporting a beard now, and I mean, it's pretty cool. And at 5, Dante. First introduced back in the 2001 Capcom hack-and-slash Devil May Cry game, Dante, the Demon Hunter protagonist, became a pretty big hit. He was kinda like the KRATOS of the very early 2000s. With his cutting personality, his kick-ass moves, and a look that is undeniably hard to forget, he became a bit of an icon in the gaming world. By the time the follow-up game Devil May Cry 2 was released, Dante had gone through some changes. He progressed physically, now being a more aged hero with a more matured personality. A lot had changed, but his famous red jacket had stayed the same. Thank God. Fans had mixed feelings though. Then we got Dante's Awakening, the prequel game, which brought us back in time to a much younger Dante. But the biggest change of all is the 2013 reboot of the game, which pretty much overhauled Dante, starting off his story in his early days as a demon hunter, giving him a completely new look that didn't really bode well with fans. Many felt it was an attempt to westernize the game and reintroduce it to North American audiences. Coming up next in our number 4 spot, Link. While his personality may not have been altered throughout the years, Link's physical appearance is perhaps the most dynamic out of any video game protagonist. Compared to a character like Mario, who, despite multiple slight changes and redesigns due to technological progress, Link has been subject to a lot more inconsistencies, right down to small color changes in between his earlier games. He's also suffered some pretty big stylistic changes, like the way he appears in Wind Waker and Spirit Tracks. Despite all this, he still remains a massive icon in the world of video games. And at number 3, Scorpion. Alongside Sub-Zero, Scorpion is arguably the most memorable character of the Mortal Kombat franchise. Initially starting off as simply the ninja character that wore yellow and had a kick-ass harpoon, Scorpion would eventually be given a paranormal backstory. He was the ghost of a man that Sub-Zero killed. He was allowed to return to avenge his death. His first fatality even revealed a bare skull beneath his hood. By the time the third Mortal Kombat rolled around, the two now had a distinction physically, which was only further adjusted over the years. Scorpion would gradually get more detail. His eyeballs would continue to be glassy and undead, and by the time 2002's Deadly Alliance popped up, the character even had a burning skull. Since then, his outfit has changed from iteration to iteration, but the paranormal character has always remained a major staple in the series. Coming up in our number 2 spot, Red. Jumping back into the world of Pokemon for this number, let's talk a little bit about Red. Red isn't really a character, more so an avatar that players project themselves onto while they head out on their mission to becoming Pokemon Masters. Most associate the character with Ash Ketchum, the Pokemon trainer with very similar traits that appeared in the Pokemon anime. This also extends to your rival, Blue, who is basically Gary Oak. And boy have they really evolved over the years. Get it? Like, evolved? Sorry, couldn't resist. In addition to that, later Pokemon games outside of the Kanto region gave you the ability to choose between other avatars, including the option of being female or male, with some avatars feeling a little bit more outlandish than others. Which game featured your favorite? Let us know in those comments below. And finally, in our number 1 spot, Lara Croft. If you lined up all of the versions of Lara Croft from now to 1996, you'd probably have your mind blown a little bit. At her core, she still looks the same, brunette with a braid or ponytail, wearing some sort of variation of tank top, utility belt, shorts, and boots. Initially, her in-game design consisted of 540 polygons, with the 1996 to early 2000s versions of her being biologically disproportionate and hypersexualized. While the character has always maintained her curves, even in the most recent iterations, these days she looks more realistic. Not just in terms of her face looking less polygony and more human, but in the way that she dresses, moves, and behaves in the game. It's like she's a real woman. Whoa, look at what a little 3-dimensional character development can do. And that's that. If you'd like to know more about these characters, we recently did a list called the top 10 most iconic video game characters, and there's definitely some crossover, so check it out. If that's not your thing, we also have a ton of other gaming videos on our channel, like the ones in our recently uploaded playlist flashing on your screen right now. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I've been Kelly Pally, and this has been Top 10 Gaming. Catch you all in the next one.